my story, Chasing Rainbows. Chapter 18. Revelations mixed with sorrow. Victoria confronted him, her face aflame with fury. "But why? How can you stand to be so cruel?" she demanded to know, as her husband hastily packed his suitcase. He had just admitted he was in love with someone else, intended to leave her in no uncertain terms. Victoria was astounded, unable to believe her ears. Deep down she had always known he never professed to love her as she indeed loved him, and yet she had believed their marriage to be sacred to him. Despite his willful neglect towards her, she had trusted him explicitly. His chilling words had sliced through her like a knife, thrusting its steel blade deep within her heart. How could he stand to inflict such pain and misery upon her? Surely he must be aware of how much she cared for him, how much she trusted in him, valued their vows. Yet he had just told her of his love for another woman, tossing aside her pleas for him to reconsider how much he stood to lose. Now it seemed he was determined to slice her heart into tiny pieces, reduce her dreams to shreds. She was about to be cast aside like a broken doll, her whole world destroyed. And for what reason? Just so he could be allowed to pursue his crazy dream? Just so he could leave her, humiliated, to suffer the injustice of it all? Joseph finished packing his suitcase and turned to face her, his face passion. If only he could have spared her this humiliation, this pain he had inflicted upon her. She stood before him, her face flushed in anger, her eyes demanding an explanation, and yet imploring him to stay. It was pathetic to behold, but he was powerless to turn things around. Picking up his suitcase, he gently pushed her aside as he strode towards their bedroom door. She picked up a small rosebud vase and, aiming it for his head, she sent it crashing across the room. He ducked, and it smashed against the wall, its porcelain fragments scattered upon the luxurious blue Wilton carpet. He hesitated and turned to confront her. And then she was upon him, pummeling her hands against his chest in wild fury, tears coursing down her cheeks and demanding to know why. Why? I already told you. I'm in love with someone else. I cannot live like this anymore. I know you're hurting. I wish I could have spared you this, but I had to tell you the truth, Victoria, he admitted, managing to keep his wits together and remain somewhat calm in the face of her fury. She fell at his feet, clung to his legs, implored him to stay. "Don't go! I love you! I beg you, Joseph! Please don't go!" She was sobbing uncontrollably, and it was pitiful to witness. And yet he knew he must remain firm. Reaching down, he gently disentangled himself from her grip. "I'm truly sorry," he told her quietly. Grabbing his suitcase, he strode from the room, despising himself in that moment for having deceived her in such a despicable manner. All the way down the wide oak staircase he could hear her sobbing, great gulping sobs that echoed through the hall. Once outside, he breathed in the cool, fresh air, tried to compose himself, and put his thoughts somewhat in order. The hired buggy was waiting outside. Victoria ran from their bedroom and burst into the nursery. Holding Frances secure in her arms, she hurried down the stairs, flinging open the ornate front door. She stood proudly at the top of the steep stone steps, clutching their son in her arms. Her eyes flashed in jealous rage. "Go on then, see if I care," she shouted in contempt, as he hesitated, preparing to climb inside the buggy. Fearing for her safety and that of their son, Joseph instructed the driver to wait. He could not leave her in this state. Fear contracted his stomach, his chest ached, and he felt nauseous. Francis waved at him in excitement. "Papa! Papa!" he cried joyfully, struggling to wriggle free from his mother's arms. In an instant it all happened. Joseph bounded up the steps, tried in vain to persuade Victoria to give him the child, and yet she refused. But somehow Francis managed to wriggle free, hid behind his father in fear. "You'll never have him!" she cried hysterically, seeking to hurt Joseph for his deceitfulness, spiteful in her revenge. With a terrible scream, Victoria reached out towards her son, and in that instant she lost her footing and tumbled down the steep stone steps. She lay still, her face ashen, her figure twisted in a grotesque manner. Even before they reached her, it was too late. Victoria had suffered a broken leg, and her bruised and broken body lay in a pathetic heap upon the